And we will then spend, I think, the next 30 minutes talking about the topic, which is finding success within. And we'll then love to answer all questions and answers from your end. So I think it's time to start, Vivek. If you allow me, should we start?
Yes, we also have Mr. Arvind from the school. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Arvind, hi. I just saw you. How are you?
Hi, sir. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah, we are in the same room, so we are sharing the one gadget to access. Yeah.
Excellent. So once again, good afternoon and welcome to Ideas That Matter, series of webinars by Shoolini University, Khosla Hills, Himachal Pradesh. I'm delighted to have Vivek Atray, ex-IAS officer, with me today. Now, Ideas That Matter was a small initiative that we started, I think around 3 months back. Vivek, am I right?
Yeah.
Idea behind Ideas That Matter was very simple. It was to create a platform for sharing ideas, hopefully inspire each other, and in the process, inspire our students. It's been more than 3 months now. We've done more than 80 webinars. In fact, this is the 80th webinar of Ideas That Matter. We have covered more than 150 institutions across India, as far as Gujarat and West Bengal. We have covered more than 100,000 teachers and many, many more students and parents. And it's a true honor to be here today with the wonderful Purkul School. We'll hear more about that from you guys, but I am such a big fan of the excellent work that you all are doing. So my name is Atul Khosla. I am the founder and Pro-Vice Chancellor of Shoolini University. I'm a BTech from IIT Kanpur and MBA post that. Spent 20 years in the industry, and somewhere the teaching bug hit me, and I love to be a teacher now. And it's so delighted to be here with all of you. Excited to introduce Vivek, the speaker of the day and my very dear friend, ex-IAS officer, TEDx speaker, motivational speaker, author of 3 books, including Finding Success Within. And also I call him the brain behind the IT Park in Chandigarh when he was the IT secretary, IT director of Chandigarh administration. So who could be better than Vivek to actually take this amazing topic of finding success within. I think we've probably done this now more than 20 times, Vivek. Hopefully we will mesmerize the teachers and students today also. So before we hand it over to Vivek, I will request the school to introduce themselves, and we will then get into the discussion. Over to you, Reginald.
Yeah, so I'm Reginald Missel, and I'm the principal of PYDS Learning Academy. And first of all, I really want to thank Shoolini University and Mr. Atul Khosla and all those who are connected with this great university which has been helping us. And thank you for inviting us for this webinar. And I also want to extend my thanks for being associated with us. And last year, 14 children were accepted by Shoolini on 100% scholarship. And even this year, we have 8 of our students who would be joining in. So we really highly appreciate this collaboration and this support that we get. Now, I would like to quickly share something about a society for the benefit of all of us. So Purkul Youth Development Society Learning Academy, that's our school, has been providing holistic care and quality education from grade 1 to 12 with the mission to eradicate educational poverty in rural Uttarakhand by reaching out to the neediest of children. We have students coming from as far as Teri, Uttarkashi, and Porola, to name a few. The journey of PYDS started in the year 2003 as an after-school tutorship facility to supplement the education of some of the children from our neighborhood. It was then that it struck Swami sir, who is the founder of the school, to extend this support to these children and eventually leading to the setting up of PYDS Learning Academy. So we provide these children with holistic care and education, including the life skills and value systems through a combination of adequate nutrition, healthcare, high quality academics, and full exposure to co-curricular activities and at no cost to them at all. Even after the child graduates from the school, we facilitate onboarding into professional universities and vocational programs to prepare them for adequate employability. Out of these, Shoolini is a great example and a pillar of support to us. Even though the times have been hard, as we know, and COVID has caused disruption in the learning of our students, but our teachers are leaving no stone unturned to provide the quality education to students through online platforms and also facilitating their engagement in co-curricular activities. So it's a very solid effort, and we are really proud of how we have gone about it, in spite of the challenges that we have various. We have been continuing to support our children emotionally as well in the most critical situations and cases where our students' lives were affected due to financial crisis at home. We have been undergoing a COVID relief work where we have been able to reach about 30 most vulnerable families with ration and other basic essentials. And this process continues as we have identified another 35 families, and which we have the second phase, we call it, of this relief has already begun. And we have also been able to make efforts to maintain the well-being of our teachers through continuous interaction with them, ensuring their professional development through trainings and other sessions. And recently, we took services of a very experienced professional counselor to help our teachers to handle emotional issues of our children. So it's we are concerned about the emotional, not only the students but as well as the teachers. So once again, I want to end because our main man is Mr. Vivek Atray. We look forward to listen to him, and I just want to thank the Shoolini for inviting us once again to be part of this webinar, and really look forward, and thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank
all.
you, Reginald. What a pleasure listening to you. And I'm going to request Vivek along with me to come and visit the lovely school at Purkul. Purkul is a village just on the outskirts of Dehradun on the way to Mussoorie. And Swami sir, I think with his passion and mission, has built something absolutely extraordinary. I just fell in love with the place, Vivek, first time I saw it, met the students, absolutely exceptional. So we'll talk about that later. And we promise to come and visit you guys. But I think let's get into the topic. And Vivek, over to you for something exceptional to motivate all of us.
Thank you very much, Atul, and great to be back once again at Ideas That Matter, a series of webinars by Shoolini University. And I'm also visiting professor at Shoolini, so it's great to be part of this family. Very impressive introduction by you, Reginald, and very good to know about your society and the work you're doing with these children, and your teachers seem to be very dedicated also. Very laudable, and I'm so happy to know about the tie-up between Shoolini and your society and school, and wonderful. I hope this continues and grows, and children and students benefit. So we are talking about finding success within, and that's the topic chosen for today, because you also mentioned, Reginald, about the emotions and the control, and how not only students but also teachers, who are also human beings after all, they have to undergo these turmoils, and we are all undergoing turmoil with this pressure of the pandemic. But there are so many things which keep happening. I just saw today some pictures from Har Ki Pauri in Haridwar, where Har Ki Pauri seems to have been damaged greatly by a cloudburst. And maybe it was today or some other days back, I'm not sure. But it is some, you see, life is unpredictable after all. So we are talking in a paradigm which is unpredictable, which you never know in India or anywhere else. The power may go off, the connection may be disrupted. Suddenly somebody comes and calls you for an urgent matter. Life is not going to go according to plan. So the first thing that we must be convinced and feel easy about is the fact that our day or our even 1 hour is not going to be entirely as we expected it to be. To be at peace with that thought, to be comfortable with this feeling, that life is going to be unpredictable, full of ups and downs, some happy moments, some low moments. That is the first victory. So if we can tell ourselves, whether we are youngsters or grown-ups, students or teachers, that ultimately life is going to be full of ups and downs. We have to make friends with the ups as well as the downs. Then we are going to be comfortable in life. Because when things don't go according to plan, many people, they go to pieces. They really, they break and they break down. So there is a saying that in adversity, some people break down and other people break records. And these who break records, they are the ones who are outstanding achievers, and they are very strong from within. What is that strength within? You look at a grandmother of, let's say, now 80 years, whose grandchildren have also, maybe great grandchildren are there now. Any Indian lady or any lady in a poor country, from a poor family, has been through so many lows and highs. But at 80 years, she's smiling, she's content, she's suffered, she's had some happy moments, she's all right. So human beings are meant to go through these lows and highs. And what do we have to do? We have to learn from them. And ultimately, if I talk at a very practical level also, at the end of the day, you don't want to feel uneasy about how you behaved today. That I lost my temper at such and such person, where I shouldn't have. And I hope, I wish I had kept control over my tongue or my speech or the words I said. Later, if you regret it, then obviously there's something you can correct. And tomorrow you can probably go out with newfound determination that I am going to control my speech, my thoughts. My thoughts cannot be controlled, but at least my actions and words can be controlled. If I am prone to losing my temper too much, I'm not going to be very happy with life. I'm not going to be very successful in life. Because as Atul will also tell you later, happiness and success are coterminous. They are coexistent. Without success, there's very little happiness, but still happiness can be there. But without happiness, success doesn't exist. And a poorest of the poor person, I often give the example of a Golgappa man, could be a rickshaw puller, could be a cobbler, could be just a laborer. And all these people can be happier than the richest man in the country. We know who the richest man or man in the country is, doesn't look too happy somehow. The most powerful man in the world, we know who he is, doesn't look too happy. And somebody who's famous, let's say Cristiano Ronaldo, the footballer, if you look at social media following today, Cristiano has probably the biggest following in the world. Even more than Barack Obama, or more than the singers, more than actors, more than anyone else, more than Bill Gates, Cristiano Ronaldo. These followings, this fame is, however, again temporary. Even Muhammad Ali, the great boxer, was on top of the world at one time. Beyond Bogue, Tiger Woods, Sachin Tendulkar, one time Don Bradman. We know all these great sports personalities. Ultimately, they have to retire. Somebody else comes. There is a movie where an actress is shown at the peak of her prowess, fame, and beauty. And after years, after 15 or 20 years in the career, she's declining, obviously. And other people are coming in her place, and she feels so bad that her face is not what it used to be. Her popularity is not what it used to be. So life brings power, money, and fame, but these give only temporary happiness. Even the Hindi film called Abhiman, if you remember Amitabh Bachchan and Jaya Bhaduri. Amitabh Bachchan is on top of the world as a singer. He's very popular, famous. People rush for his autographs and all. No selfies at that time, no smartphones, only autographs. When he gets married to Jaya Bachchan's character, who was a great singer herself, and recognizes her talent, promotes her, and she becomes more famous than him in that movie as a singer, and he starts going down. What turmoil he goes through. So what ultimately is success? It is not linked to the externals. It is not linked to our money, power, fame, or popularity. It is linked only to the inner journey. These are only props. They are only supports. They can only help us in getting happy or happier. Even if you eat your favorite mango or your favorite hot chocolate fudge, ice cream, or whatever it is, it will lead to temporary happiness. What really succeeds in this world is an attitude of happiness and positive thinking, and an attitude from within that really, really matters. And that really, really gives you that inner calmness, that glow within as well as without. And then that glow never goes away, because you have been a positive, magnanimous, caring kind of person, someone who is cheerful, someone who is always helpful to others. Your life is just a bed of roses in that way, because people love you and your acts, they look up to you. And after many years of experience, you know how to share your experience with others. That is a life to aspire for. And of course, we need that car, we need that job, we need that house, we need that marriage which works. And we also need everything that is supposed to be there to make us comfortable in life. But beyond the point, running after more riches and more power is not really going to lead to greater happiness. There is a very, very great law in economics, the law of diminishing returns and marginal returns. And it is absolutely true. Your first ice cream will be your most loved one. The second will also be great. The third and fourth ones, not so much. So it is absolutely true of human experience. We need to have that attitude within, which makes us feel content, at peace. And this calmness also comes with it. Calmness comes from knowing that you are grateful for what you have. You have done your best to be where you are, and you will move forward with that knowledge. And as Thomas Alva Edison said, when they were inventing the light bulb, he said, we failed hundreds of times, but we have learned from each of those mistakes. Had I not failed all those times, I would never have been able to invent the light bulb. And therefore, we have to learn, move forward. People who are resilient, people who are brave. There are people out there who are in difficulty, braver than us, and disabled perhaps, mentally, physically. Blind people sing so well, so impressive and so inspirational. And if you look at it, I'll give you one more example before I request Atul to come. There's an advertisement of Samsung, which is a Samsung repair boy in the hills, the repairman. And he gets a call from a girl. We can see that girl in the advertisement. She's blind. And she says, our TV is not working. Can you come fast? There is an important program we want to see. He goes as fast as he can, but there is some trees have fallen there in the mountains. He reaches there and he finds this girl is blind. He starts repairing the TV, and he's about to finish when she calls everybody else. About 20 youngsters come, all of them blind. And they all come and sit down before the TV. And he switches on the TV, and the show is about to come, a music show, maybe Saregama or something, in which one of their friends has gone to participate that day that show is coming. And they all want to be there. They can't see it, but they listen. And this boy, this repairman, is in tears as he watches them dance and sing along with that friend who has gone. How much he learns in that 1 hour of being there. And that's how we need to have empathy for others, and our life becomes absolutely bountiful. Thank you for listening till now. I'll come back again later. And here is Atul now. Hopefully, yeah, Atul is there with his ideas and inputs on success within.
Thank you, Vivek. And I'm so excited to be with all of you today, because as teachers, we are so happy today. We are so happy because As I say, there is no better success than making the lesser privileged, the underprivileged, and the ordinary people extraordinary. Our students come from different backgrounds. Many of them might not be exceptional in the conventional sense. Many of them, actually, most of them are not very rich. And we as teachers do some magic and try to create world beaters out of them. And there is no better success than this, Vivek. And that's why I'm so happy today, because the values of Shoolini are so aligned with the Purukul Society and the school that you guys run. I'm going to tease all of you. I think some of you have not been to Shoolini, so I'm going to tease all of you with a small video I made on Shoolini, if you allow me to share this, Vivek.
Sure.
And I will then get into a small thought on inspiration. Here it is. So Vivek, inspiration can come from different sources. Inspiration can come from our teachers, which I think comes all the time. But inspiration can come from people around us, role models. And inspiration can come from great spaces. And I think these become part of the way we run Shoolini. And we're so proud to have Purukul students with us. They're doing some exceptional work. I was seeing some records. I think you guys are doing great. And we just hope that we can continue this partnership, not just for the next 3 to 5 years, but for the next decade, set of decades. And I think we can demonstrate sizable impact. Who knows, there might be a prime minister coming out of these bunch of students. But like Vivek said, true success is not success is in the conventional sense. It's about success, about whether we are successful within, whether we are happy or not. I'd like to quote Jeff Bezos over here. A very interesting quote over here, Vivek. He speaks about two sets of people. One set of people are those who are running after materialistic things. And another set of people who are running after being happy, and he also calls it success within. And the famous quote he's given is that ultimately, even from the conventional sense of success, in the monetary sense of success, people who are running for success within are the ones who also get successful in the conventional sense, Vivek, whether it's money or power. So let's try to be satisfied. Let's go out and teach better, make our students more and more successful, and you will see the conventional success also follow us. I'm going to come back with a few other thoughts on creativity and collaboration. But before that, I'm going to show a small case study of Aman, Vivek. But before that, I'm going to hand it over to you and then come back in another 10 odd minutes. Over to you, Vivek.
Thank you, Atul. Great thoughts as usual and very sparkling manner. It's very good to be connected to the school, the society, Gurukul society. I keep going to Mussoorie. I speak at the National Center for Good Governance there. From Chandigarh, I go to Mussoorie often. And there I speak to officers of all kinds. I resigned from the IAS 3 years now, almost ago. And I am a speaker, as Atul told you. So it's wonderful. So maybe one day Atul and I will plan actually. So coming back to the topic, there are some other tips that I would like to give you, and I also would like to mention my book at this stage. It's called Finding Success Within, which is the same topic of the webinar, and it is about 52 life skills for young Indians. I have given 52 chapters in this book, which will probably be helpful to young people to read and find out more about what it takes to be successful and actually successful, not only at the periphery or outside. And points covered in this include practical tips like communication skills, presentation skills. These days, it's very important for everybody. Whatever knowledge you might have, whatever insight into a subject you might have, brilliant expertise you may have, but you have to be able to express, communicate, convey that knowledge to the audience, to the people around, and to your team. And it is very important to be able to communicate with your boss also, and with your leaders. So I've also got a topic in this called handling difficult bosses. At times we have superiors who are difficult, and how do we handle them? So one of the ways I mentioned in this is a very practical tip. You must talk to that boss. You must go and request for an audience. You must go and tell him or her what you think and how you are being a little under pressure because of something. So that will help. Unless we do that, there is no right that we have to go and talk to someone else first. So it's good to meet that person and request a couple of times. If it doesn't work, then the other ways mentioned in my book also. Then I also talk about things like networking. Today, it's not enough to be good at, let's say, a product you have made or a startup, or you are a great motivator. You have to convey that. You have to market that. You have to promote that. And so networking is required. A little way of reaching out to new people, going and introducing yourself at a, hopefully we'll go back to people gathering in one place. You see someone there who is well placed. You know that he or she can help you. As a student, a 20-year-old going up to that person and saying, sir, I am so-and-so. I have great interest in what you do. It's networking, and it's important. And at any stage of life, that network which you have, the human capital that you have, the whole set of friends that you have, not only social media friends, but real friends that you have and associates that you have, they will be helpful. Networking and such things also are covered. But when we talk of finding success with you, there are some deeper topics. One of them is what I mentioned earlier. It is emotional intelligence, the ability to understand yourself and to understand others, to control your speech when required, to control your anger management, to prioritize your time. Emotional intelligence is needed, because I am very, I love watching television and I spend 4 hours watching television every day. Then how am I going to find time for my walk, my book reading, my conversation with my mother or my daughter or my wife or whoever I am? It is very important for us to prioritize and be ruthless at times with yourself. That I have to be harsh on my habit of wasting this 1 hour of the day. I can only afford to waste 20 minutes. Of course, these days it's important for people to be sitting and doing nothing also, because we are never doing nothing. It's important to switch off from all gadgets and all distractions and diversions and spend time with yourself. Meditation is another way to do that. Meditation will help us to calm down, to be more connected to the inner self, find inner peace and joy. And you know that healthy mind, body, and soul will result from calmness. If you're an agitated, restless, nervous, irritated, angry kind of person, or any one of these, then inside you there are some cells or lots of cells which are also stressed out. And being stressed out, your physical health suffers, mental health suffers, spiritual health suffers. By meditating twice a day, even little by little, find your path. Meditate wherever you can, whenever you can, regularly. Then you will find that you are able to handle your day better. Your own health is better. Your energy levels are better. And your calmness is better. So that is something we need to win, that battle within. Because as I mentioned, ultimately the inner battle, the mind, is where the battle of life is being fought. The Kurukshetra of Mahabharata is here in our mind. And in that mind, we need to win the battle of the good versus bad, of the uneasy versus the calm, of the restless versus the balanced. So we need to have that balance within. And that within battle is what we need to win. And I had written a piece recently which was about the fact that the mind is the most difficult to control. And in the autobiography of a yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda writes, the author, that he quotes a poem where somebody says that a tiger or a lion or a snake or any wild animal can be controlled, but the mind cannot be controlled. Because thoughts will come from here and there. It's okay to have thoughts. You have to. But there are times when we can calm ourselves down and not allow these unnecessary thoughts to come. And then mind wandering is a disease now. Overthinking is an ailment. Overthinking leads to depression. We need to get out of that kind of overthinking. We need to get out of that kind of mindset where we are worrying ourselves to death because we are so stressed out about things which may or may not even happen. And that is why we need to get over that. I've got the autobiography of a yogi here. I'll just show it to you all who haven't seen it. Autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. Why I recommend this? Because it's not a religious book. It's a spiritual book. And it helps us all to understand where we should be, where our mind should be, where our focus and priority should be, and how do we calm ourselves down. Very, 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 very important. I haven't told the Einstein joke for a few days, so I'm going to tell you. It is something that teaches us a lesson of life. All the teachers who are watching, all the people who are watching. Let us go back to the time when Albert Einstein was delivering lectures all over the country in the US. He was traveling and he would deliver a lecture in one university town and stay the night there and go to the next town the next day. And the talk was always on his theory of relativity, which is the brilliant theory of Einstein. Now, that theory of relativity lecture was very popular. 24 times he delivered it in 24 days. And he was going to the 25th town. The car was the same, the driver was the same who had been there all this while. And now the driver finally speaks. Einstein is reading some papers at the back. The driver says, Mr. Einstein, sir, I have attended each of your lectures sitting at the back of the hall. I think even I can deliver your lecture now. And the theory of relativity is not easy to comprehend, but Einstein is quite impressed and surprised. He says, okay, in the next town, they don't know how I look because it's a small town anyway. It was the early 1920s or something where digital photography or any photography was hardly there. So he says, you become Einstein and I become the driver. Let's go. So Einstein drives the car and they reach there and the driver is received with a bouquet of flowers and taken to the stage. And Einstein goes and sits at the back and pretends to be the driver. Now, Mr. Driver delivers a flawless lecture. Absolutely perfect on the theory of relativity. 1 hour he speaks. And at the end of that hour, everybody claps and cheers. Einstein so excited and he claps and cheers. And then a professor gets to ask a question from the front row. And he says, Mr. Einstein, I have a question. And he asks a very complicated question. And the driver looks at him calmly and he says, Professor, that's a very, very simple question. I think even my driver can answer this. And of course, the driver knows how to answer all the questions. And everybody claps. Maybe the driver was arrested or not arrested, but he was caught. And Einstein had to apologize later. But at that time, we learn a few things from this driver. Firstly, we learn confidence from. To be successful, you need confidence. Second, he was intelligent. He could memorize a lecture of the capability of Einstein. Third, he had public speaking skills, delivery skills. He could go and deliver that lecture. Fourth, when the tension-filled moment came, when that question was asked, he had presence of mind. The presence of mind to be calm and respond in an intelligent, very practical manner. So this is what we learn from people like him. I'm going to just share a couple of points and then invite Atul again on screen. These couple of points are: always analyze whether you are fretting too much, worrying too much. Spend your day introspecting. Put some reminder. Am I calm enough? Am I introspecting? Am I losing my cool? So maybe you can have 4 o'clock as your introspection time, or 8 o'clock, or even 12 o'clock. However, been till today, till now. So do something like that. Is one point. The second is that always look out for others. Make sure that they are feeling happy around you and help others. And then it becomes teaching is a great profession. You are rearing the future of the country. You are helping others. And if these children love you rather than feel scared of you, if they respect you, that is even better. And that's how you become successful. Over to you, Atul.
Thank you, Vivek. Absolutely stunning thoughts as always. Definitely, like I always say, get goose pimples when you speak, Vivek. My last thoughts are actually very simple. And I'm going to talk about happiness for a second, and I'm going to talk about collaboration for a second. When we think about success, there was a research done by Harvard University where they tracked 3 generations of people. One set of students from the streets of Boston, another set of students from Harvard University. And they tracked 3 generations of these people over 100 years to see who is successful, who is not. And guess what? The research indicates that happy people are successful. Successful people need not be happy. And what makes people happy? It's not money, it's not power, but it is people who are part of a community, people who have great friendships, and people who have a great support of a family. So loners tend to live less, and loners tend to be less successful than people who are part of a broader community. So my request to all of you will be, pick up the phone, speak to your parents, be part of a community, which you already are, by the way. I mean, I can't doubt that at all. And success, even in the conventional sense, like I said, money and power would hit all of you. The last thought I'm going to leave with you guys is actually the type of skills that we all need to succeed, and your students will need to succeed. If we step back and we think about what are the type of skills we needed when we were growing up, at least, you know, me and Vivek, when we were growing up, the knowledge was at a premium. People who had knowledge were the ones who were more successful than the people who did not. Today, knowledge is available over different forums. We can get knowledge over Wikipedia. More and more knowledge is available through artificial intelligence tools. The computer is replacing the human mind. So what will make us succeed? It's actually going to be 2 sets of skills, Vivek: me skills and we skills. Me skills are ability to lead, ability to learn, ability to unlearn, which are skills related to me. We skills are ability to collaborate, ability to be part of a team, and ability to engage with each other. And I think these are the skills which will enhance the EQ of our students and will make them not just happy, but also successful in the longer term. So my request to teachers is going to be that apart from all the knowledge and all the great stuff that you're teaching them, do focus on some of these me and we skills, which I'm sure you already are. And of course, communication skills that Vivek, you spoke about. I'm going to bring up a small case study of a student of ours, Vivek, if you allow me, Aman. Aman was a difficult child, and you know what I mean by that, teachers. She was a tough student. She comes from Punjab, from a relatively lesser privileged family, not very brilliant till she hit her PhD. And some magic happened. And that magic came from the leadership of a guide, from the collaboration that the partnerships that she made, and the collaboration that she got from alliances across the world. And also some of the environment that she got to be fearless in her thinking and think outside the box. So Aman has done some absolutely fantastic work. She's won the World Water Fellowship. It's an award of the United Nations. More than 100,000 researchers across the world apply for this. And Aman got it from a small university somewhere in the mountains of India. Just imagine how big it is. Who knows, tomorrow people might, even change the way they drink water based on the work that she's done. And I'm going to share a small video on Aman just to give you a sense about the great work that she's done. So Arvind, Vivek, this is not just the story of Shoolini. I think this is also the story of the Purukul Society. There's so many exceptional students which are emerging from there. I'm sure with very, very similar stories. We just need to keep it up. So I will also request, I think Shikha, Kamal, if you're there, if you can just mute Reginald, please. I'll truly appreciate it. I think there's some background noise coming in. So Vivek, I think one question which everyone is going to ask you before we get into Q&A, and I think there's some questions. Shraddha ma'am has asked a question over here. Why did you leave the IAS, and have you ever regretted leaving the IAS?
Thank you, Atul. I think this question is also linked with the topic and why we are successful in life or considered to be successful. So everyone asks me this question. I think I became more creative than my system in the government allowed me to be. I wanted to speak, write, flower a little more. And I think I would have spent the next 10 years being less useful to society than I am now. I think I'm reaching out to more youngsters, traveling, speaking, Shoolini University. There are so many things that I love doing, which are part of my life now. So I envisaged this and I realized that I've become a speaker and I can have some merit in this. So as an IAS officer, I had pretty much achieved what I felt were the landmarks that are considered to be important and positions. And those last 10 years, I don't think I would have had that kind of career that I'm having now. More exciting, more innovative, more creative. That's why I resigned. And yes, perceptions may mean that you need to be more as much as possible in the government. People, even after retirement, want 5 more years in the IAS or the government or ex-IAS. So I didn't feel that way. That's why.
There's no end to it, right? And I think for the other teachers on this discussion, I'd like to add that Vivek is a teacher himself. He teaches, of course, at Shoolini, lots of other places, but he also manages a toddler's school and does a lot of work which is not for profit. So Vivek, thank you for all the wonderful work that you're doing. We have a few questions. There's one by Shraddha ma'am, and I'm going to ask that. I'll also request other teachers to keep posting their questions and comments. But let's get into Shraddha ma'am's question. She's asking, how do you handle students that are not obedient at all? What's your experience, Vivek, on this?
Yes, so there could be two factors in this as far as I see. Some students, because of their family background, are not disciplined or don't listen. And because at home, their upbringing, they could be poor or rich, it doesn't matter. But their upbringing is such that they are not taught basics. And the parents probably are either too busy working long hours, or they are stressed out and squabbling with each other, arguing. So children are not in a wholesome atmosphere. So when they come to school, by habit, they are not obedient. That could be one reason. And then we have to counsel the parents, and we have to counsel the child separately rather than in front of the whole class, telling that not obedient student that you are this, you are that, will not help. So we need to call that child separately and talk to that child. That's how you handle it. The other reason also could be that the child has some mental block or has some habit of not obeying. There becomes a kind of habit, and some resistance is there to the school or the teaching or the subject or the teacher. So one has to find, the mind is a very complex organism, and one has to find the reason and then counsel the child.
I think it's getting a little tougher. At least we are seeing that in the context of a university, in the online world or the virtual world, where we're not having face time with the students. I'd like to add over here to all the teachers and also to the members of the Purukul Society that are there, that online is a science. It's not just about picking up lectures and taking them virtual. You need the right technology, you need the right pedagogy, you need the right instruction design. And at Shoolini, we'll be very, very happy to contribute in whatever little way we can, Reginald, if you need any support and help. I would also like, Reginald, you to come on screen and get into a discussion with us at this juncture. We'd love to ask you a few questions about all the wonderful work that you're doing. So if you can unmute yourself and also stop your video, we'd love that, Reginald. And as Reginald sort of comes in, I'm going to ask one more question to you, Vivek, which lots and lots of teachers ask us. They're so stressed right now at home. They've become Corona warriors. They are teaching online, but simultaneously they are taking care of family. They have to take care of the students. Life is getting very stressful. So how should teachers manage this, Vivek? And I'm going to ask the same question to Reginald after this.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Atul. Everyone is going through a lot of stress of a lot of activity, and working from home is proving to be more stressful for most people. And because they're always on, always connected. Earlier, work time and home time was different. So here, teachers are having to multitask their families, their homes, their work, their students. Everything is important. So I believe that, as you said, something about me time and we time. So I believe they need me time. They need a half an hour or 45 minutes or 1 hour to themselves. And they need to take it out from somewhere, wherever they feel that 1 hour can be culled out from maybe a half an hour conversation which takes place with the mother and the brother every day, can be cut to, maybe it's important, but 10-20 minutes there, somewhere else where you are just maybe you can shave off a little bit of time in the kitchen or wherever it's possible. And there, then you take out that half an hour, 40 minutes, meditate, read, walk, be by yourself, and self-development will give you that confidence to handle this time. And you will look eagerly forward to this me time as well as to that busy time when you go back, because you have refreshed your mind. So sharpening your axe is very important. Sharpening your mind, sharpening your soul by meditating, calming down, reading, these things will.
I'm very curious, to ask a question to Reginald here. We've been talking about the digital divide. The lesser privileged find it very difficult, especially if you're in rural environments, to get online. What has been your experience, Reginald? I'm sure you're running online courses right now. How is it with your students?
Yeah, thanks to first Vivek and Atul for such enlightening thoughts, and really coming out of the box and the examples that you give. Yes, this is it's a very relevant, absolutely relevant question, not only to our school, but I guess to any other school, and more so to us, where we have kids from really challenging backgrounds. There are households where there is just one phone, if there is at all one, with an Android, and there are a few siblings, maybe they all need that access to that Android phone. There are situations where there is one phone, the father goes off for work, and by the time he comes in the evening, then the students have the access to the whatever the work that the teachers have, you know, uploaded as videos or worksheets or their own personal videos. That's how we have been doing, and we have formed different WhatsApp groups with our different classes, and the way we have been really able to sort of manage in a quite successfully, I would say, in spite of the very adverse conditions of difficult net connections and availability of the mobile phones, is that the teachers have really made themselves available. They have not limited themselves to a certain time period. So they are able to answer to the queries and the questions. There are even, and I continue to speak with them. Yesterday, I was speaking with all the department heads, and I was just, we are having a lot of interactions continuously, apart from the regular meetings and setups, but one-on-one, asking them the challenges. So I was asking, how are you been assessing these kids? So they said, yes sir, this is the challenge, and sometimes these kids call very late, and they send their work very late at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So, and then it could become stressful. I said, my question was, are you guys feeling stressed out? Are you feeling burned out? This was my question to many of them. So I'm quite surprised that, almost all of them said, sir, no, this is a different challenge, and we need to stretch ourselves. And I said, why don't you tell your students that, okay, say at 9 o'clock, don't send anything, and don't. Then these teachers, a few of them said that, sir, like, no, we have to help them and we have to support them, because they get their work by the time the dad comes back home, and that's the time they get that material. Leave aside the Zoom class, leave aside the Google Meet, that's again certain privileged kids, mostly seniors, they have been able to accommodate that. So the teachers have, I am in almost all the groups. So right from the I chose myself to be in each grade one, and the math group and the science group and everything, just to be there and to see how they are, not to really be monitoring them what they're not doing, or but more to be just seeing and supporting and being a support and help to them in any way they're feeling challenge in any situation. So I mean really, my teachers are there, and I continue to really thank them, and the way they have stretched themselves. And we are, even now, that we are now calling that our first phase of the online teaching is over. Now we are reviewing it. We are just thinking, should we cut down? Should we slow down our pace? And already today we were making this plan, how to slow down this, the whole process. Maybe just hold it back and just check with the teachers and the students. We don't want them to be burned out. And apart from this very academic part, yes, it's going on. We have so many competitions, and we even had a quiz competition online, handwriting competition, dance and art, and just to stimulate all the other different faculties. I won't say that we are 100% satisfied. Yes, we are still evaluating ourselves, and we are still trying to get better so that we can reach our each and every child. And yes, but our endeavors are, of course, sincere and honest, and we work as a team, of course.
Absolutely, Reginald. I think the teachers are the true Corona warriors. They've ensured that our students are learning, our students are keeping themselves occupied. So thanks to all of you and the story continues across the country. So hats off to all the teachers. And I'm curious about one more question. Reginald, you spoke about the phone not being there everywhere, but what about connectivity? Are you guys having connectivity issues with the students?
Yes, we have, especially our kids who are been in the far reaches. We have, till now, we have been able to reach in some form or the other about 95% of our students. We have been able to help them. There are still that 5% whom we have not been able to, because they are in such remote areas where there is zero connectivity. But we do have a backup plan for them. One girl, actually, her brother approached us And we do have little hostel facility in the pretty good, decent hostel facility in our campus. So we accommodated this
Fantastic.
one girl in the hostel. She joined us. Yes, and for these, the 5% whom we have not been able to, absolutely zero contact, whatever way we have tried them. So we have a backup plan when they come. How are we going to, spend more time with them? And, so we do have a plan for that, of course. Yes, though it is an issue.
95% is a good, 95% is a very good number, I think. So
Yes,
that's hats
yes,
off to you guys.
yes, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Vivek, on this topic of finding success within, have you heard about, let me first ask you, have you heard about the school before you spoke today? Have you heard about Purukul School, the
No, I
society?
hadn't, and I'm very, very pleased to know. And as I said, I keep going to Mussoorie. And Atul, we should make a special trip if possible. Would love to know more about it. And I'm very impressed with the way Reginald is speaking about the school. And I'm sure there's a lot of depth and a lot of character involved. I'm very, very impressed.
So we're coming to an end of our time, Vivek. I don't see many questions here, so we should probably not keep everyone held up here. Like I always do, I'm going to ask you to give your last thoughts, but only one sentence, and then we'll go to Reginald. So better be prepared with your one last sentence, Reginald. Vivek, over to you.
Thank you, Atul. I think it's a wonderful topic, finding success within. In summary, I think one should really care for others. One should be balanced within and calm within, and the battle of life is won.
Reginald.
If there is one last word, if I have to say, is that there is, there are no dead ends, but as there are paths that we can discover, and that's how it has been for us. With obstacle and coming obstacle, and we found new ways, new creative ways to do things, and that journey, I guess, it just continues. We're just getting better, and finding different ways, and especially collaborating. And this time with you guys has really opened up our minds, and we would definitely be, asking you and requesting you to help us in even in this online program in whichever way possible.
Happy to help, Reginald. We've done lots and lots of work. We actually have a center for online learning. So happy to help you, whether it's on technology or it's in terms of instruction design. But I would like to say my last words are, when I came to the Purukul school and I met some of your students, I had tears in my eyes because all your students are world beaters. And it's a responsibility to make them truly, truly successful. And we're so honored that you chose Shoolini as a partner. All your teachers should be so proud of yourselves. It is such a fantastic job that you guys are doing. Vivek, you have to see and meet the students to understand what I'm speaking about. At least I had tears, and I did express my thoughts to Swami sir. So Swami sir, if you are listening to us, or if you're not, do pass on the message to him, Reginald, that what an amazing man he is and what amazing work he and his wife have done in building the school. So Hakuna Matata, don't worry, be happy. Corona is not there to stay. Corona will go today or tomorrow. We have to continue chugging along, and I think the students that we teach today will be the future of the country. Thank you very much for this wonderful session. Vivek, I'm highly obliged once again. You have tremendous stamina. This is Vivek and mine second webinar today, and I'm sure Vivek has got more lined up in the evening. So Vivek has got tremendous stamina. So you're becoming a teacher, I know that, Vivek. So once again, thank you, and thank you, teachers of Purukul Society, Arvind, Reginald, Swami sir, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you very much, Reginald. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek and Atul and Shikha, for making us to be part of this wonderful webinar and this time together.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.